Hello everyone, John here. I've had quite a few comments on YouTube and also a couple of patrons now ask about how I do my art. So I thought it was about time I showed you all. So I'm using a Galaxy Tablet S9 Plus and the S Pen that comes with it. I use an app called Sketchbook to do all my drawings in, although recently I have paid for Clip Studio Paint EX because it's a drawing app and also it can do animation, and that's what I'm hoping to get into in the future. Add some animations, hand-drawn things, but fun little dwarves and whatever. And so yeah, that's the plan for the future. But for now, I know how to use Sketchbook and it seemed to make the most sense to do it. I don't see the way I draw changing within Clip Studio Paint. I think I'll still use the same processes, so the fact that I'm doing this through Sketchbook shouldn't matter. They should be exactly the same. So we'll get started. I begin with pencil, the pencil tool with a grey, having it there to just sort of fill out shapes. Usually I'll spend about 10-20 minutes beforehand just mind planning, working out where I want things, what I want. I should probably point out that what I'm drawing here is a Crundle. Whenever I see the Crundles in game, I don't see them as little reptilian imp things for whatever reason. I see them as insects. They look like little grasshoppers or mantises. So that's what I decided to draw this one as. It's what I wanted to draw the other Crundles as that I did before, the group of 3, but ended up with the weird lizard imp things because I figured that's what most people would want to see. So once I've got the basic shape done, which I have already, and I make sure I block things out as though they are 3-dimensional shapes, you'll see everywhere. That's how most people advise that you do things. You work out how they look 3-dimensionally so that it doesn't look flat when you're done. I decided his legs were a little bit too small here in the bottom of his body. They're supposed to be short, they're Crundles, but I just didn't like it. And then once I've done that, sometimes I do what I'm doing here. So I go in after with the pen tool in a different colour. I chose red because Crundle, but it can be any colour, it's not the problem. And what I do here then is just embellish. So you can see I'll add little extra squibbly bits and bumps and whatever, like above the knuckles there, just so I've got a little bit of extra shape. And I only do this stage if the sketch I've started with is as rough as this sketch is. Normally I spend a little bit more time on the sketch process, but I wanted to get this done and out and show what I was doing, so I thought that's okay. I'll do a primary lining part. And you can see here I'm just adding little things as I go, trying to make sure that the legs are pointing in the right direction. I think I'm not massively happy with the way the feet turned out. They're a bit weird, and I get that very hooked claw thing. I used to draw dragons as a kid quite a lot, and that's where those hook claws come from. So he's got dragon feet, but still, demon, imp, thing, insect, it's good enough. And then if you look at the actual Crundle sprite in the game, they've got this really small sort of downturn mouth, which to me just looks like mandibles. And then those eyes on the side of the head are really far across to the side of the head, which generally reptiles, I mean, a lot of them are predators. I'm trying to think of a single one that is iguana. An iguana's not a predator. No, it eats flies. Yeah. Anyway, so their eyes are wider, but they're still like front facing a lot of the time. So it's weird to me that we see Crundles as imps, but I suppose it's the red colouring as well, which helps with that. And so then you're seeing what I do next. So that's the line work basically done, and now I go in and I add the full detail. So I'll add the little jaggies and the claws and all the rest of it. I had real trouble with this for some reason. Now, I wanted that claw to be angled sort of towards us, and I do try and work that in with the detail later on, but at this stage, I think it just ended up looking a bit weird, but it's fine. A lot of the times I'll make mistakes like that there, that jaggy at the bottom. That was actually a mistake, and I decided, oh no, I quite like that, so I'll keep it. It's supposed to look like the joints between. Anyone that keeps insects, I've got tarantulas myself, and they, well, not insects, but you know what I mean. The joints where their legs join, it's really weird and bobbly wobbly and weird looking, and that's what I tried to emulate there. Oh yeah. Another great thing about doing multiple linings is you can evolve the shape. So that originally had a point that wasn't centered. So I added a double point at the bottom, and now it looks more centered. Still not perfect, but nothing in nature tends to be perfect anyway. So if you go for the perfectly symmetrical look, it ends up looking a bit weird in my mind. Could just be that I believe there's no such thing as a mistake when it comes to drawing, and you just work with whatever you end up with. But yeah, and then you can see here I didn't like the how low the points of those dagger toes went, so I just sort of lifted that up a bit with the second line. Not much to say about the eyes. I wanted them to be a bit bulbous, but I wanted them to keep that line across the middle to sort of tie in the sprite from the game, because it's like a single line, because it's pixels. Little teeth there. I go back to it afterwards when I do my details, because again, it's another step after these. Well, quite a few more steps. But I add hairs to the mandibles because I wanted it to kind of look like a crab. I can't tell you why. I just decided that's what I wanted. And then really easy to see those imp horns as feelers. And yeah, when I've done that, what I do, finish the lining, I duplicate it. And on the second layer, the layer below, I will do all the colours. And the reason I do that is then I can inline, like you can see here, it's not filled perfectly because I didn't do the tool properly. It doesn't matter, but I can then line around, and it doesn't matter if I go over the outline because there's a second layer that's got it. And then we're on to shading. I mean, we've been on to shading for a little while now, but I was breathing. And that's relatively simple. I just take the main colour for wherever I'm doing, and I go darker a little bit. I use the spray brush tool, paint spray. I use a tool in the app that sprays stuff, and I use that to then outline where I think shadows would be. And I also use it like in the toes there for where you'd see sort of deeper, darker bits within the nail. I use it there as well. Just add depth and shadow to the whole thing, so that you can see I added where the claws are causing shadows over the belly. Right, and then on to the light sheen. So because this is a bug, I wanted it to be a little bit more shiny. I want to show it was carapace, so I go with a lighter colour, and I add it more liberally than I would do with something that was made out of hair or flesh. And then I just go in, and anywhere where I think there'd be a lighter area, a higher area, doesn't always make sense, and you just kind of do what looks right in the moment. You know, pull back and sparrow on a bit. Yeah. So I'll do not just the outlines of things. If something's supposed to be raised, to add that three-dimensional aspect to it, I'll add the lines that you can see across the top of the claws. And little flecks there to show that those things are rounded. and again, just across the whole body. Now, normally, I do this sometimes, and other times I don't, because I want his skin to be shiny. I'll just pause it for a second. Because I want his skin to be shiny, carapace, I suppose, I will do some detailing with the lighter colour, which I would normally leave to last with my thinner black outlining. And I'm just doing this again with the pen at, I think, 1.5 thickness, just so that I've got that extra. Oh, actually, no, I think this is with pencil, because it's not detailing so much as it's just light coruscating off things. Coruscating. Fancy. And then here we are. This is where I get into the nitty-gritty, adding the details and adding the shape to everything. So I always start this process thinking, oh god, this picture's not worth it, what am I doing? And then I get in with the details, and all of a sudden I've got a picture. It's three-dimensional and interesting, and something I can actually be happy with. And again, went a little bit crazy with the claws. They don't quite make sense, but it's fine. If you make a mistake, generally, if it looks alright, it's not a mistake. And then just claw detailing again. And I tend to look at any empty area, so you can see the hip area there. I added a load of shaping there to give it just sort of that, like it's curving over and round. And then to the back carapace bit, because I'm seeing it sort of like a ladybird. It's got just bumps and things on there just to give it a bit more detailing. And the hairs, I love doing hair. I saw that there was nothing in there. Right, I'm just going to pause, and the reason for that is I wanted to show. I wonder if oh, there's the hairs that I was talking about with the crab. Aha, right. Let's just go back a touch. Oh, too far. Nope. Engineering. Come on, come on. Right, so I'm just going to use the scrubber. I can't. It's rubbish. See if we can catch it. So that's it without the background. That's not what I'm trying to show. Nope. Nope. What are you doing? Oh, there the hairs, yeah. Whoop. Ah, here. So this is all the detailing that I've done, the light work and everything, without everything else behind it. And that's it with the detailing in there. And I just love looking at this, because without the outline, without the colours, it's sort of like an optical illusion. It's almost like it's I don't know, a dot-to-dot picture, and you've got to work out where all the edges is. I just like looking at this, and I want to show you guys. But yeah, that's it in a nutshell. Any questions, pop them down in the comments below. I don't know how often I'm going to do this. It was a lot of fun to try and get working, but yeah, there we are. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again. Bye-bye.